Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Lady Bird. Lady Bird marks the directorial debut of Greta Gerwig, who also penned the screenplay. So there's been a lot of buzz around Greta Gerwig over the last few years in general, and in turn there has been a ton of buzz surrounding Lady Bird. So I was very intrigued to see if it was worth the hype and to see if it really was like an awards contender film. And I will say, I really enjoyed myself. So let's go ahead and talk about those positives first. All of our actors come to play. Saoirse Ronan is fantastic in this film. I think she is just wonderful. She's captivating. She really helped create an interesting character in Lady Bird, and she felt completely believable in this role. So, good job to Saoirse Ronan. I also think that Laurie Metcalf was amazing. I actually really hope that they kind of push her for a supporting actress nomination because I thought she was fantastic. And actually, maybe even more than Lady Bird herself, I feel that Laurie Metcalf really added layers into this mother and really created a very complex, well-rounded character. So, just a really great job from her. But all of our supporting cast is fantastic. Like Lucas Hodges has a small role here, and he's really good in his little role. Everybody, though, does their part and does a really good job. I also think the film is quite funny. I laughed pretty consistently throughout at the jokes made, and it's definitely entertaining. It never left me bored or disinterested in what was happening. So just from an entertainment value, it has the laughs. It's a nice, easy, breezy kind of viewing experience. And I also think that the script is really strong from Greta Gerwig. And I think her directing debut is also a success. I think she did a nice job with the directing. I don't think there was anything overly fantastic or stand out great from her directing. But I think it was definitely a solid effort for her first time directing. I will say that some of the editing and some of the story points and flow didn't work so well and felt a little bit choppy, but in general, I think it was a pretty solid job. As for the negatives with the film. So as I mentioned, the film community has really been in love with Greta Gerwig over the past few years. And I have to say, outside of her role in Jackie, I feel that she plays unlikable people very often. So that was actually my concern heading into the film, seeing that she wrote it especially. And I have to say that she created quite a few unlikable people here. So looking at the character of Lady Bird, she felt very much like she could have been the younger version of Greta Gerwig's character in Mistress America. Very self-centered, very entitled feeling, and most of the film came across as just an unlikable person. And that was kind of my major problem with Mistress America, as I just didn't like the character and I thought she was a horrible person. So I kind of just couldn't get behind our lead and our protagonist. This one is a little bit easier to get behind. She's a high schooler. She's still developing more. But Greta Gerwig very securely stays in her wheelhouse of all about herself and writing characters that are hard to empathize with because they're so self-centered and they are really just hard to like sometimes. And then you move over to the mother, who is a much more well-rounded character. She's also older. And in saying that, the mother is also pretty unlikable. And a lot of the friends are unlikable. It just seemed like a whole lot of unlikable people throughout the film. And the ones that are likable, of course, are kind of pushed to the side and we don't get nearly as much time with them as maybe we would hope. And in saying all of that, I think our characters get marginal growth by the end of the film, but it doesn't feel like we're there. It never feels like we've hit that moment of growth because we've literally seen it earlier in the film. We've seen the character come up and understand that they're self-centered and bratty and entitled and kind of have that epiphany moment and apologize, and then they go back to their behavior. Same thing with the mother. She gets told that she is overbearing and mean and too much, and then she goes back into that behavior. And in particular, the mother character, I don't really think learns anything. I think that maybe the Saoirse Ronan character was getting to the point of learning things because she was off and into a whole new world. So I guess just my general problem is that Greta Gerwig created another Greta Gerwig character. And for me personally, these characters don't resonate all that well, and they don't come across all that well. But in saying that both of those characters are horrible people, it did make for an amazing mother-daughter dynamic that was fascinating to watch, and I thought it really had some fantastic moments. And unlike the characters themselves, it did seem to have at least somewhat of a growth. So overall, Lady Bird is exactly what you're anticipating it to be. It really is kind of the typical snarky, sarcastic indie film about a young adult or teenager that we've seen many times before, but to its credit, this one is executed very well. So if you've enjoyed the trailers for Lady Bird, I think you're really going to enjoy this film, and I would say give it a full price ticket. If you're a Greta Gerwig fan, you're going to love this film, so I say give it a full price ticket. Otherwise, I think it still deserves a full price ticket. It's definitely entertaining, it never gets boring, and it's a pretty short movie. So go see this movie. I definitely think it deserves your support. And when it comes to supporting actress, let's hope for Laurie Metcalf, as well as screenplay. This just may have a shot at making some waves this award season, so it may be some required viewing. So that is my review of Lady Bird. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Lady Bird? And what is your favorite sarcastic coming-of-age film? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!